The U.S. housing market peaked. The real estate market's been hot for a couple of years now, but buyer demand has stayed strong and home prices have risen dramatically despite continued low inventory and rising rates. But there are signs that the market may be starting to cool. Hi, I'm Mark Renner from Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. Starting to cool. Cool doesn't mean collapse. Cool just means slow down a little bit. So let's talk about, has the housing market finally peaked? So what kind of housing market are we currently in? Much of the country has been in a strong seller's market the past few years. And the reason for that is buyer demand has been high, with purchasers outnumbering sellers and a continued lack of supply to meet that demand. But a seller's market is one in which sellers have the negotiating leverage because demand for housing is higher than the supply of available homes. Low interest rates, a bull market, accessible refinancing, and the coronavirus lockdown have prompted people to move, purchase their first homes, buy vacation homes, and invest in property. We've been in a strong seller's market for some time because of a shift in the mindset of millennials regarding home ownership. Millennials used to be the enemy of real estate, but now they're the largest consumer, comprising 43% of buyers in today's market. The decision millennials have collectively made to stray away from rental properties and own real estate has shifted the market completely. So what does it mean for the housing market to peak? When experts indicate the market has peaked, they mean the highest growth rates are now behind us and the market is starting to cool off. But once annual home price growth starts trending downward, in other words, home price growth from value from 12% to 6 or 7%, but still appreciating, it means the highest growth rates are now behind us and the market is starting to cool off. But once annual price growth starts trending downward, the market is said to have peaked. Since home prices display strong seasonal peaks and troughs, annual home price growth is used as a barometer for determining market hotness. Typically, this means that prices have begun to level off. When the market peaks, it reaches an ultimate high, with prices and mortgage rates at an all-time high before descending. So will the housing market peak in 2022? Well, the market peaks, it cools, it only warms and cools and sometimes booms. But over time, alternating between a buyer and seller's market, but it always keeps going up. Think about a hiking trail going up a mountain from the side. Sometimes it gets steeper, sometimes it dips back down, but it always keeps climbing. But others feel strongly that we are approaching the peak of the seller's market due to a greater number of price adjustments by home sellers recently. Rising mortgage rates and an increase in housing inventory are signs that perhaps the market is cooling a little bit. Overall, there are multiple signs, including a transition towards a market favoring buyers, which signifies the housing market has already peaked. We can already see signs of an impending slowdown. Inventory is rising rapidly. More houses are taking price reductions before finding a buyer, and there's been a sharp fall in affordability. There has never been a bigger gap between what the median homeowner can afford to pay for a home and what the median home costs. So what's coming next for the housing market? Well, the forecast is that the housing inventory will remain heavily constrained, especially with rising mortgage rates. But if you are a prospective seller, even if you could find a home to purchase, you won't want to swap your current 3% mortgage for a 5% mortgage. Therefore, demand will continue to outpace our ability to supply. One economist adds that because we are still in the early work from home movement, you can expect to see more tech workers moving to remote locations, even with some living in their vacation homes. While new inventory will become available, it won't be nearly quick enough. Most developments in good areas are oversold and have even stopped accepting people on their waiting list at this time. But rising mortgage rates could work in favor of remaining buyers. Overall, the second half of 2022 will reflect a lower demand for housing because of the increase in mortgage rates. However, this is when we will see first-time home buyers entering the market to have a chance at purchasing a home. Fortunately, we will see an increase in inventory over the rest of the year. But the bad news is that mortgage rates are slated to rise possibly as high as 7% by the end of the year. So your next steps, well, no one can say for sure how the housing market will trend in the second half of 2022. How high will mortgage rates go? How much will buyer demand slow down? How many new units will hit the market? As always, that's why it's tough to time the market as a buyer. Rather than waiting for a housing market peak and hoping prices will fall, which they won't, focus on your own situation. Find out how much you can afford at today's mortgage rates and decide whether buying now makes sense for you, for your budget and your lifestyle. If you're ready to get started, connect with your mortgage advisor, and I have one for you, who can walk you through your options and help you find the right price point for your needs. Thank you for watching my video. If you are a home buyer or a potential home buyer, I encourage you to go to my website at www.markrenner.com and click on special reports, where you can buy this, where you can order, it's free, you don't have to buy it, where you can order this special report, Home Buyers, How to Avoid Paying Too Much. This is simply a simple guide to help overpaying for your home. In today's complex, fast-paced market, you can't afford to learn these lessons through trial and error. The tips contained in this report will go a long way toward making you a savvy buyer. You can get this special report, as I said, at my website at markrenner.com, or just give me a phone call at 402-690-1687, or email me at mark@markrenner.com. I can send you this and other special reports in a digital form because so you can download them. I have them in a digital form, or I can send them to you in a printed brochure. Thanks again for watching today. Have a great day and be safe.